Okay, let's talk about that one moment every software team dreads, pushing a new feature live. It's high stakes, right? Well, today we're going to follow a team story. We'll see how they use a really smart technique called a canary deployment, along with some cool tools like Istio and AKS to pull it off without a hitch.
So here's what we'll cover. We'll start with the basic problem they're facing, then meet the hero of our story, Istio. After that, we'll watch them actually do the rollout, see how they check if it's working, and what happens if they need to hit the emergency brake. And we'll wrap it all up with 5 simple rules you can use yourself.
So let's just start with the big question, the one that probably keeps a lot of you up at night. You spent weeks, maybe months, building something awesome. But the second you push it live, you risk breaking everything for your users. So how on earth do you update live software without anyone ever noticing a problem?
All right, let's set the scene. Imagine our team. They've got their application, we'll call it version 1, humming along perfectly in production. It's stable, users love it, no problems. But of course, they've been busy building the next big thing, version 2. It's got all these shiny new features, it's faster, it's ready to go. And that's the dilemma, right? How do you get from V1 to V2 without causing chaos?
Basically, they have 2 paths they can take. The first is what we call the big bang. Just flip a switch and hope for the best. It's fast, yeah, but it's super risky. One tiny bug and boom, the whole thing comes crashing down for everybody. The other option is much smarter, the canary approach. Think of the old canary in a coal mine. You send a small test group in first. You release the new version to just a tiny slice of your users, watch it carefully, and only if it's safe do you roll it out to everyone else.
Okay, so the canary approach sounds great, right? But how do you actually do it? You need some way to control traffic with pinpoint accuracy, deciding exactly who sees V1 and who sees V2. And that is where our hero, Istio, comes into the picture. It's basically the smart traffic cop for your whole system.
So what is Istio? Well, you can think of it as this clever layer that sits on top of your Kubernetes cluster. Its job is to manage all the communication between your different services. It handles things like load balancing, security, and monitoring. And the best part? Your application code doesn't even have to change. It just works.
And that really gets to the heart of it. This quote says it all. Surgical precision. That's the superpower Istio gives our team. It lets them carefully, safely route just a tiny sliver of traffic to the new version. It's the difference between trying to perform surgery with a sledgehammer versus a scalpel.
Okay, enough talk. The plan is set, the tools are in place, it's go time. Our team is about to take their first real step, deploying the canary and letting version 2 see the light of day for the very first time.
And look at how they're doing this. They're not jumping in with a 50-50 split, no way. They're starting small. A whopping 90% of their users are still happily using the old stable V1. Only a tiny 10% are being sent to the new V2 Canary. Why? Because it dramatically limits the blast radius if something bad happens.
So you might be thinking, wow, that must be some complicated code. But check this out. It's not. It's just a few lines in a simple configuration file. You're literally just telling Istio, hey, for this service, send 90% of the traffic to the destination named V1 and send the other 10% to V2. That's it. It's so simple, but so incredibly powerful.
So the canary is out in the wild. Real users are hitting the new code. And now comes the moment of truth. The whole team is just glued to their dashboards, watching and waiting. They're looking for any sign of trouble as V2 gets its first real-world test.
But what are they really looking for? What are the vital signs of an application? How do they know if the canary is healthy, or if it's time to pull the plug?
They're looking at a dashboard that looks a lot like this. And what's crucial here is they're comparing V2 directly against their stable V1 baseline. So, they're asking, is the error rate going up? Well, it's a little higher, but not by much. That's okay. How's the latency, the response time? Again, a tiny bit slower, but totally within their limits. So far, so good. The canary is looking healthy. Green check marks all around. Right, so based on what they're seeing on those dashboards, the team is at a fork in the road. They can either keep going and roll this thing out completely, or they can slam on the brakes and roll it all back. Let's explore what each of those paths looks like.
Let's play out the what if it fails scenario first. So, 10:05 a.m., the canary goes live. 2 minutes later, bam, the error rate shoots up to 15%. Alarms are blaring, the team doesn't even hesitate. They just change that one little config file back to send 100% of the traffic to V1. And just like that, by 10:09 a.m., the fire is out,
crisis averted, and the most important part, only 10% of users ever saw a problem and only for a couple of minutes.
And check this out, because this is really cool. Istio has an even safer trick up its sleeve. You can set it up so that it only sends you to version 2 if your request has a secret password, basically, a special marker called a header. This is a game changer for internal testing. Your QA team can test v2 on the actual live system just by adding that header, while every single real user stays safely on v1. It's like the ultimate safety net before your safety net.
But hey, let's get back to our team's story, and for them, everything looked great. The metrics were solid. So what's next? They get a little bolder. They update that config and bump the traffic for v2 up to 50%. They watch the dashboards again, still looking good. So they go for it. They push it to 100%. And just like that, v2 is now handling all the traffic. The rollout is a complete success, and they can finally say goodbye to the old v1.
So what's the big takeaway here? This wasn't just about having cool technology. That's part of it for sure, but the real secret sauce was the process. This whole thing went smoothly, without a lot of stress, because the team had a clear playbook they were following.
And these are the 5 key rules from that playbook. Number 1, start small, always. You want to keep that blast radius tiny. 2, automate your rollbacks. If things go bad, you want a machine to react instantly, not wait for a human to notice. 3, know your baseline. This is huge. You can't tell if something's wrong if you don't know what normal looks like. 4, test internally first. Use those cool header tricks we talked about for a final sanity check. And last but not least, number 5, communicate. Make sure everyone on the team knows the plan, what to watch for, and what to do if the alarm bells start ringing.
So, our team's story had a happy ending. They went from the scary, high-risk, all-at-once approach to a safe, controlled, and confident Canary release. And that really just leaves one final question. But this one's for you. Take a look at how you do things. Is your deployment strategy really ready for the future?